Well, after nearly a year delay, a study aimed at gauging the feasibility of east-west rail connecting Boston to Pittsfield was released last month. The study alone cost more than $1 million. And tonight, the 22 News team investigating why the study concluded that more studies are needed to make east-west rail a reality.
We've got a high quality of life, but so many of our young people feel they need to leave.
State Senator Eric Lesser of Longmeadow is one of the leading advocates of east-west rail. He believes that faster rail service to Boston will help grow the economy here in western Massachusetts.
Do you foresee someone living here in Springfield, Chicopee area, getting on the train every day, commuting to work in the Boston area, and then coming back home?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, my vision is that you actually see people going back and forth in equal numbers. So my hope is that we're going to have families that stay here, that invest here, that pay taxes here.
A Mass DOT study concluded east-west rail could increase employment opportunities for workers both in Boston and here in western Massachusetts.
President Biden indicated at our meeting.
Congressman Richard Neal told the 22 News team that lawmakers on the federal level plan to move forward with infrastructure legislation that would directly benefit east-west rail.
We think that all of the ingredients and architecture are there for getting at least improved service.
Right now, the Mass Pike is the fastest way to get to Boston from Springfield. On a good traffic day, it can take just 90 minutes. That is not the case for train service.
The 22 News team researched a random Thursday in late January. We found 5 trains to Boston's South Station, but only one was direct. The other 4 took passengers to New Haven, Connecticut, then to Boston. In some cases, a more than 6-hour commute. Even bus routes aren't direct. Most travel through Hartford before continuing on to Boston, and that trip can last 3 hours.
It seems that back in the 90s, Boston had a progressive vision for the big dig and reconstructing all of its infrastructure there with transportation. And you're seeing the fruits of that labor now in Boston. Do you think the same can happen with east-west rail?
Well, I think that that's an instructive example, right? Because Boston in the 80s, 70s, 80s, was mired in terrible traffic problems, in slow growth. It wasn't, frankly, a place that people thought of as a real global city, as a real global center for innovation and for commerce. The big dig came, they made investments.
And this too will certainly be an investment. A new east-west rail is estimated to cost anywhere from $2 to $5 billion. The faster, more direct route, the higher the price tag. The study's final report offers up 3 options for connecting Pittsfield to Boston, and all 3 include stops in Springfield, Palmer, and Worcester. Depending on which route is chosen, commute times from Springfield to Boston would be anywhere from 2 hours to just over an hour 30.
It would make for a much more integrated approach, I think, to transportation needs. Anybody trying to get into the city of Boston, they will know exactly of what I speak.
So again, that study concluded that more studies are necessary. For example, the state needs to figure out if the MBTA will manage east-west rail or if a new authority would be created to oversee the operations. The study also recommends more analysis on the economic impact the rail would have on western Massachusetts. Many advocates of east-west rail question all of the studies and the lack of a concrete timeline.